Hey people, um, I've been working on my blog and wrote my first entry and I would like to share it on my YouTube channel. This was really hard for me to write. It was very emotional. It was very raw, very deep for me. It came from a place that I thought I was over and ready to move on, but I find me writing these blogs and sharing it has been therapeutic for me. Um, so I hope this can help someone else. The title of my blog is called Damaged Goods. And hey, I'm Tasha and I'm damaged goods. Well, it took me a long time to realize that I'm damaged. I always felt if I didn't dwell on things that happened to me in the past that I couldn't live my life like it didn't affect me. But it does in so many ways. One of the ways is that it's very hard for me to maintain a long-term relationship because men I get involved with always complain that I'm not affectionate and don't show emotion. I really don't mean to be that way. That's just who I am. See, in my childhood, it was none of that. My grandma raised me from my earliest memory, and there was no hugs, kisses, or I love yous. But somehow I knew she loved us. My mother died when I was young, about 8. I don't really remember much from those days, but I remember living with my grandma, and my mom and dad would come visit us. And I was so happy to see them. So, of course, when it came time for them to leave, I would cry. Then my grandma would say, "Why are you crying? I'm your mother. And if you don't stop, I'm going to give you a reason to cry." So as a kid, it was confusing. So I'm not supposed to cry when I'm sad. So when I was at my mother's funeral, looking at the person who birthed me, who loved me like no one else could or would, I didn't know how to feel. I didn't understand what was going on. All I knew was everyone else around me was so sad and crying. So that's what I did. I cried. It's crazy. Even though I didn't know how much my life was about to change, I felt a great loss that day. I didn't know how much I didn't know much about my mother, but I remember her laughs and how much she loved Whitney Houston. I always, I'll always love you and Sexual Healing from Marvin Gaye. I can still hear her singing the song, sounding like a wounded cat. to this day, it's really hard for me to listen to that song. It comes with so much emotion, sadness, anger, disappointment, confusion. I don't understand why God took my mom. Why didn't He allow me to have her like all my other friends had theirs? Why did God hate me so much? My life has been one bad thing after another. My mother left me with a grandma who didn't know how much I was hurting, how much I needed kind words, not belittling or ass whippings. When the people who's supposed to love you and take care of you are the people who hurt you the most, where do you run? Where do you run? Where do you find strength? So you begin to bottle up your feelings because you felt like no one cares anyway. That's the What's the point? They just want you used to their life. Now, don't get me wrong, my grandma loved me and was a good woman. She taught me how to be a strong woman, how to step up, don't rely on anyone, and always get money, but stay humble and help when you can. But she just was a tough woman. She didn't know how to show weakness. I have seen my grandma jack up my dad just to keep him away from me. Now, my grandma wouldn't allow anyone to hurt us on her watch, but she just wasn't a type of person. She wasn't a grandma that would give you a hug and tell you how beautiful you are. But she didn't have that kind of upbringing. So she didn't understand when she was telling me I was ugly and I had tomato lips and I was fat, that she was giving me low self-esteem. Or when she said I would only be good enough to lay on my back, that made me not know my value. I remember when I was about 11 years old, I felt like I was over it. I wanted to just die. I was tired of being the butt of all jokes at school, sick of coming home feeling unwanted, and I just wanted to be with my mom. So I asked my older sister if I took a whole lot of pills, would I die? I don't remember. I don't really remember what her response was, but after we came home from church, I took the pills, and after I did, I immediately changed my mind. What was I thinking? I wanted to go to Disney World with my class. So I prayed that God saved me. So I woke up from my sleep, started throwing up. My grandma was scared, didn't know what I did. Then my sister told her what I asked her before. So I was worried my grandma was gonna be angry and I was really gonna get it then. But to my surprise, That's not what happened. She took care of me. She prayed with me, had me lay in bed with her. That's the first time my grandma showed me that kind of love, gave me a whole nother view of her. Wow, she does love me. I just had to be sick to get that kind of love. See, when I was scared, my grandma would say, "What are you scared for? You too big to be scared of anything." When when you didn't understand something, you were stupid. How could you not get something so simple? If you cried because you were hurt, she would say, "Stop making all that noise. Go make some tea." Tell me, how could I have not grown up and mastered how not to show emotion? The crazy thing is that it's not that I don't have emotions. I feel everything. I'm too emotional. I cry when the movie has a sad or really sweet scene. I get angry when someone hurts someone I love. I feel compassion for people in need. I take everything to heart. I'm very sensitive. But the only person that really knows this is people that's close to me. Other people don't get reactions. But I realize this is a problem, that I shouldn't be bottling up how I feel, because how do you expect people to know what's going on with you if you don't say anything? That makes you resent people because you are unhappy with them, but they don't know why, because you don't express what's going on. So if it just pushes people away from each other, and then it becomes a routine in your life. So relationships that could have been something beautiful doesn't last long because you don't know how to tell that person how you feel. Now I don't blame my grandma for anything. I'm just telling how I let something from my past affect me in my life. I truly believe my grandma did the best she could do, and she meant me no harm. She was teaching me to never let them see you sweat and be strong, because that's all you can do in life to survive. So I've been so busy trying to survive that I forgot to love, be happy. I'm pouring my heart out to the world, working on rebuilding myself so I can no longer be damaged goods. Hashtag my truth.